personal song, and so it was. In some respects, although I remember it coming quite quickly, it was hard. It was hard to write in a lot of respects because it varies the degree to which you sort of dig deep when you're writing. It's a very personal story about my relationship with somebody very close to me. So it means a lot to me, and yeah, it's just it was kind of a sort of therapeutic thing, just to write it, because it was something, a lot of strong feelings, it's hard to express them. I felt like I did for that one thing. With Move Together, I got it out pretty good. It's all little snapshots of experiences and relationships, and kind of yeah, I think the easiest things to write about, albeit sometimes the hardest things to feel, because they're quite raw feelings. The easiest things to write about are the things that you experience, and the emotional things and personal things. So this EP just so happens, all the songs on it are those things. Sometimes it's hard to, I guess on the flip side, sometimes it's hard to just kind of write a song about a thing that you can't necessarily connect with, because you'll go through the process of writing it and you'll just keep wandering off in different directions, and you feel like you hit dead ends. So when you feel like you've got something to say, that's when a song usually, for me, flows out a little easier, and those often become the keepers. They never made any sense, but I mean, actually, for me personally, because for me, the songs that I write on my own, I usually try to sort of take them from something real. You just kind of don't care. You just want to sound like your favourite bands, and you copy them a little bit. It was just the whole expression, the whole thing of being able to like express yourself with your own little riff and your own melody and whatever, and it just was always just a load of fun. So yeah, I was never too shy about it, particularly with like being in bands. And then when I started writing my own stuff, I remember this completely naive kind of confidence, like, yeah, I can do this. Here's some of my songs. So yeah, it was always pretty carefree, and kind of just for the fun of it. I started playing guitar. I was about 11 or 12 years old, and I'd had various kind of. I've always loved music, and I had various interests in playing the guitar. All of a sudden, sort of towards the age of about 11, there was like a cupboard really high up in my bedroom. There was this guitar up there, and suddenly, I'd been intrigued by it in the past, and then about that age, about 11, I just had to get it down. I was like, I got to check this thing out. Pulled it down. Some story about it being my dad's or my uncle's for a while, and obviously the thing was kind of a little bit broken up. But it was in good enough shape that we took it to a local guitar shop and got it fixed up. When you're that age, a lot of us, when we're that age, we suddenly, music becomes a different beast and a lot stronger, and it wasn't only that, I suddenly started hearing music, people like the Stones and bands like that my dad, my parents had listened to. I'm really sort of feeling something for those bands all of a sudden. But it was the feeling of, I had the guitar. I remember it had like 5 strings on it at the time, and they were all like rusty, and one of them was like falling apart, but somehow still on the guitar. And just, you sit it on your lap and you strum some horrendous chord, and it just feels great. So I remember I bought a CD-ROM. So these old things that used to go into your computer, and it would teach you how to play guitar. And that didn't really last, so I ended up, I eventually transpired to just sort of picking things up by ear, and yeah, here I am today still playing. So that's how it all kind of came about. I got the hat a few years ago, and I just really like it. It's kind of as simple as that, and I like it for the moment. In a couple of years, maybe it'll probably be gone. I got hair under here. I'm just going with it for the minute. No one seems to be too offended by it, so in a couple of years, I'm sure I'll switch it up. But yeah, it's just a thing, just a thing of the moment. That all comes from my sort of time before I ventured into sort of wanting to be a solo artist or being a solo artist. I've played in bands, and I've fronted bands, and I was a teenager in my bedroom playing my electric guitar. So I've been dying to get back to that. I love playing. It's an amazing thing playing solo live. It always will be, and I'll always fall back to it. But I'm also very comfortable around a band, and there's so many possibilities with a band as well. In a lot of respects, there's more possibilities. So it's about time, considering a lot of the writing I've been doing lately has been for other instruments as well. In my songs, it's kind of like, yeah, I've got to get back to that now. So I'm going to go to Nashville, I'm going to go to the studio, and get everybody involved, and plug in, and it's not all just going to be acoustic. I'm going to get the electric out again.